Engineers Day celebration, and with the most with a very critical topic on water. So just to start off the event, let me just request Engineer Arun Prabha to start off with the proceedings of the welcome address. We have Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi, who is the speaker of the day, and Engineer Vijay Vishnumaya, who is one of the panelists for today. Over to you, Engineer Arun Prabha, for the welcome address, sir.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome all the participants online for this event of Engineers Day celebration being co-hosted with Ramco by ACCEI Mangalore. Every year, we do it in a very big scale, the Engineers Week following the Engineers Day celebration. But this year, due to the events that have unfolded in the last 6 months, we have not been able to do. But sometime in the near future, as I was speaking to Mr. Anil Pillai, we'll be unfolding all the events that we have missed. But then today we are here, we'll be celebrating the Engineers Day along with Ramco Cements. And it becomes important that ACCEI and Ramco, who have a traditionally good relationship, both in terms of knowledge sharing and also uh, we have the pride of associating with one of the best cement manufacturers in the country, if not the best. They are, I think, somewhere right at the top. I also welcome Rajendra Kalbavi, our senior member of Association Consulting Civil Engineers Mangalore. I welcome Mr. Vijay Vishnumaya, who has been the leading light. And Mr. Suraj is also there. Everyone on the Ramco side and everyone from our side, plus the participants. It's really wonderful to be part of the New Year's Day celebration. I was there yesterday night in the Lions Club. See, it always worries me that almost in 150 years we have not been able to produce someone who is at least one of 150, one by 150 of Sir M. Visvesvaraya. Of course, even I take comfort in the fact that there was no one earlier to him for thousands of years. But then endowed with so much of skill set, so much of technology, so much of opportunities, even someone with little capacity of what Visvesvaraya had has not emerged, gives me another opportunity, thinking that someone will emerge very soon, and that is the requirement. That's the need of the hour. Someone has to come because if this country has to see revival, fast revival from COVID, someone with that kind of commitment, someone with that kind of knowledge, someone with that kind of application of mind has to emerge. And I think that someone is there somewhere in between us. And every time I speak of this greatest person, greatest engineer, he made civil engineering probably at the top of our staff, just because people like Visvesvaraya and only Visvesvaraya in this country probably has taken it to that level of reverence. We civil engineers are revered, we are held in high esteem in the society, not only because we do so many things, we bear the nature, we do all those things, but then I think because Visvesvaraya was a civil engineer and because he did so much of construction work, today we are living in a very, very well recognized branch of engineering. Cement, water, and Visvesvaraya. What is the connection? The connection is MSIL, Mysore Iron and Steel Limited, steel factory in Bhadravati, Karnataka, was not doing well. So Sir M. Visvesvaraya was invited to see what could be done for revival. He went there and started the cement division of MSIL. MSIL started cement, and within a year or two of this, started cement from slag, one of the first in the country. Look at what he has done years and years ago. MSIL revived to become Visvesvaraya Iron and Steel, and today it's one of the part of the Navaratna company of steel. That's the connection. And cement and water not separable. They love as much as they hate. Not too much of water is desired, nor less amount of water is desired. Always it is the exact amount of water that does the trick in cement and water. And I think Ramco and ACCEI Mangalore have achieved that balance. We need Ramco as much as probably ACCEI also desires Ramco. This has been one relationship that has been struck with a equilibrium through the efforts of all my earlier chairman and all entire team of Ramco, which has been nursing this Mangalore center. Sirs, thank you very much. I think I overshot my time, but then for all Ramco events, we just have to devote whatever we can. Welcome to everyone on the panel. Rajendra Kalbavi certainly deliver a out of the world lecture today, and he has been doing so much on water conservation, water recharging, and all that. I recently tend to call him, instead of Rajendra Kalbavi, I tend to call him Nirendra Kalbavi. Nirendra Kalbavi onto the show. Thanks everyone. Mayaji, thank you very much. Thanks everyone on the panel. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Engineer Arun Prabha, for that opening remarks. It was really interesting to see that you have touched upon all the aspects, broader aspects. And before, I do not want to waste much of the time. I just would like to take some more time to introduce the speaker of the day, Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi, who is going to talk about a very significant topic, a very critical topic. I mean, we had so many webinars, almost more than 100 webinars. We were talking about concrete mix design, about cement, about smart cities, about reinforcement detailing. But then, a topic exclusively concentrating on water is the need of the hour, because as all of us know, water is going to become scarce. And I think that we as civil engineers have a greater responsibility to ensure that water is conserved. And I'm sure that this topic will open up our eyes and see how we can conserve water. And, especially as Engineer Arun Prabha was saying, when we look at concrete, there are a number of things that we can do even in concrete to conserve water by designing the mix properly, by reducing the water cement ratio. Just imagine if suppose we make 1,000 cubic meter of concrete, and if we are able to reduce the water cement ratio without sacrificing the quality of concrete, I mean, so much water is conserved. And that happens, due to proper scientific mix design. So let me just introduce Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi, who has also started a YouTube channel, and it's very interesting to see a lot of inputs from his side based on his experiences in the YouTube channel. And I'm sure that that would be a very eye opener. Even after this talk is over, I think one should go to that channel and see how it can be, how we can do, what all things we can do as far as conservation of water is concerned. Now, Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi, sir, you are able to hear us?
Yeah, very much.
He has completed his bachelor's in civil engineering from Manipal Institute of Technology, Manipal, and he obtained his master's in construction technology and management from National Institute of Technology, Karnataka, Surat. He has constructed and guided nearly 250 rainwater harvesting structures for industries, schools, apartments, and individual villas. And he has delivered talks on rainwater harvesting in 105 places across the country. He has constructed more than 90 individual residences villas using Nirmiti technologies. And he has started YouTube Knowledge, as I was mentioning. He has put all the videos under the title Water is Life. And I am sure that for all the professionals, all the engineering professionals, not only engineering professionals, even the customers, even the stakeholders needs to go through that channel, so that each one of us, if we can conserve water to a certain extent, I think when we add it up, I mean, it will be huge, colossal of water saved. So that is where we at Ramco Cements wanted to, associate with Association of Consulting Civil Engineers, so that all of us get an overview of the important things as far as civil engineering is concerned. Because as all of you know, we have been bringing this to cement, the right product for right application, and our Ramco Research and Development Center, where we have been doing a number of research as well as development to see how materials, including water, can be conserved as far as concrete is concerned. And that happens, you have to look at all the materials in concrete, whether it is the blending material, whether it is ordinary Portland cement, whether it is the blended cement, whether it is sand, whether it is aggregate, and then looking at the packing density of concrete, we can ensure that water is conserved. So we have been doing number of works at our research center from the materials perspective of it, and to ensure that an economical mix design is being done. And with the green building material coming up, with sustainability coming up, I'm sure that when we talk about sustainability and green building material, one item should be added in that. I'm sure it is being added, but then more emphasis should be given in with regard to conservation of water, which is very critical. So with those few words, let me invite the speaker of the day, and let me once again welcome the participants who have joined us, and all those participants who have logged in through Facebook also. Let me welcome all of them to listen to the speaker of the day. Over to you, Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi, for your talk on water elixir of life. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir, Anil. And thank you, ACCEI Mangalore, for giving this opportunity to share a little bit of more knowledge, what I have on water. Friends, first let's see water in a larger scale. Then we'll come to civil engineering. You know, what is happening? It is not. Yes. So, friends, say water is everywhere, and still we need to conserve it. I'll tell you why. This is a famous statement by Columbus, who said, "Water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink." He was on an expedition to find India and went on to West Indies, and later he was caught in the mid of sea, and there was water for him to drink. But it was there, water everywhere, but not a drop to drink. And then came the rain. So there he realized, because of rain, he could survive. So we need to take care, if we all care. And take care of it. Man's relation with water started right from the beginning, in the earlier days, when he first saw his face, his own being in water itself. And man started living from the water border only, from near the water. See, the whole world has to live. There are three important things. One is light, the other one is air, and next is water. Without these three things, we cannot survive at all. Air is available 24 hours a day, absolutely no problem. You can get it wherever you want, unless you pollute it too much. Light, yes, at least it is available 12 hours a day. Another 12 hours we can manufacture and survive ourselves. But water cannot be manufactured. It is available in the whole world, is available around 70 to 80%, but it's in the saline quantity in the sea and other areas. Another 10 to 15% is in the glacier form, the ice form. It's not available. Another 5 to 6% is below the ground level, deep inside the ground, and hardly 4 to 3 to 5% is available for us to use for our day-to-day purpose. Even our body is filled with water. Hardly 10% is 10% apart from bones and other things. So water is everywhere. Take care. Yes. See, it comes from the nature only 4 months a day. Whereas air and light is available. But water comes once only 4 months, and it itself is giving a indication. Array, my dear fellow, take care of it. Otherwise, you're going to have problems in the rest of the 8 months. That is why we need to take care. How do we need to take care? Really? On a large scale. And what is the civil engineer's role in this? Yeah, here it is. Man is made for his consumption. Okay. And for basically consumption, as far as the construction is concerned, is not much because it is being used somewhere else. But water as a human being is consumed too much. And we design, even the corporation or the town panchayat, they design that at least 135 liters per day that they have to, per person, they have to give it to the people of their city. Quantity actually giving, the quantity actually it is being used, there's hardly any studies. But some interesting people have already done studies, and they have said Each person uses more than 250 liters per day. And corporation is trying to supply. They don't have a mechanism that how much they have supplied. And because they also give a lot of subsidies, they also give free waters to the certain section of the people, certain elected representatives. So what is just given? Where it goes, to what extent, we don't know. Well, the 135 liters per day is only for 10 years, 15 years. It's all right. Exactly, we are struggling. The water is man-made. The reason. No one, even in our houses, in our offices, we draw water from our source. It might be a bore well or open well. Have we counted how much water we are? In any construction field, there is an inlet pipe, okay, or there is a bore well. Have we realized that how much water we are drawing out from the existing bore well or open source? Nowhere it is done. So we need to take care of it. Man, it is purely man-made disaster. It's going to come, and if we don't, we awake. We need to awake immediately. So, friends, this man is a ACCEI Award winner who has gone all over India, and he said next another 5 to 10 years, 21 dry. 21 citizens are going dry, and already in the world, there is one city, that is Cape Town in South Africa, which is almost ready to declare that is a zero water city. Are we expecting the same thing to happen? City, Chennai, not this year because of Corona and lockdown, there was not much hue and cry about water. Otherwise, last year there was a hue and cry about water in Chennai. Kilometers together, people were waiting for water to be supplied by their own municipality or the corporation. But is it the responsibility of the municipality, the corporation alone? We civil engineers and as a common being, as a common person, we are using the water. Don't we have any roles to play? See, this water was everywhere. And there was no hardly any structures, not any paved roads. What was there? As the development took place, we started seeing water in the well. We started seeing water in some open areas. Now science has developed. We are seeing, in the cities, we are seeing water only in the taps. If they continue, probably we'll see water in the bottles and probably in the tablets. And later, we have to see only our tears. So what we have to do? Say, friends, when we have water, it is natural that we dig the ground. Depending on your soil strata, it might be anywhere in the country. Depending on the soil available, you might get a little bit of water or you might get a little more water. But, okay, you will use it. If you get more water, you use it excessively. So you want to say, then you start going deep. People say when there were kings and maharajas, they used to have a lot of water sources and everywhere there was water available, and water was available within the ground surface only. We never thought of going deep. Wells have thousands of years of history, but of late we have borewell. And we started going deep. We were thinking of going around 100 feet, 200 feet, 300 feet. Now we claim, I don't know, it's a pride or it's a blame that we have gone 1,200 feet. Somebody said we are going 1,800 feet. Are we not doing injustice to our own profession? We know, we have studied geology, that as we go deeper, it is mixed with minerals and others. So pure water is not available much deeper. It is available much upper level. Let's see. So we start blaming the government because government is forced to. Because there are elected representatives. There is no hard and fast rule. There is no overall rule for water management. Even civil engineers fail in water management when they design the whole project. I went to an institution, training institution, let's not name the place. They have designed a beautiful building, a lot of spaces, yes, beautiful toilets, beautiful. Everything is okay, but there's no water. And I could see a beautiful lake in the same village or the same place, and I said, see, that village could get that water from that water source. Why not here? You have open space, so much of open space. So the engineers, if there's no water, borewell is the only solution. Of course, department engineers have their own pressure. Because of some pressure, they do it. That's a different issue. But overall water management policy, we are lacking in. So you blame the government. So there is no greed for man. You go on supplying the water, the blame the government. If we start blaming the government, what government can do? They will do rationing. Yes, they're absolutely, there will be, okay, if you want water, come to us like petrol bunks. Now we need to have water bunks in the future. Come there, you take whatever you want. You pay for what you want. Now it is subsidized too much. So our civilization started with water. That time we didn't have much problem because we used to fetch water and we used to bear the weight of the water and bring it to us, our place and use it. So we used to use it sparingly. Now science has developed. We have started moving away from the water source. We have started moving not only kilometers, thousands, hundreds of kilometers from the water source. And now what happened? Science has developed. So we have the pleasure of just switching on the pump or switching on this one switch and we can get water gushes to us, and we don't know where the water is being, whether effectively used or overused. This is the problem. The problem is we believe water coming from the tap itself is the water, and water nature gives is not water. This is the irony, friends. When we have water which is below our foot, around 1 feet of water, where the water has come from? Must have come from the nature. So if we collect the water from the nature, then our problems will be very easily solved. We don't realize that because water is free of cost. Just because of free of cost, can we take it for granted? Let's see how we can do it. I will tell you a simple example for civil engineers. If you take 1 square meter of water with 1 mm, you will get 1 liter. So 1 square meter, 1 mm. So 1 square meter, 1000 mm, will get 1000 liters. The water tanks which are 1000 liter capacities are almost 1 cubic meter. So if we have a 100 square meter of water, the India's average rainfall is 1250 millimeters. All over India, average. So if you have a 1000 square meter square feet, a 2-bedroom house with a 1000 square feet roof area, you can annually collect 1,25,000 liters. And in my area, where we are getting around 3,500 millimeters, Mangalore, we can get only around 4.5 lakh liters of water, 3.5 lakh water. So that much huge quantity of treasure nature is giving on our head, on our roof, and we are neglecting it, sending it to the drains and sending it away and telling we are not getting water here. So what we have to do? If we count it backwards, a 4-member family. A 4-member family, actually, I initially said that we need around as per WHO, World Health Organization, for man's basic hygienic needs, around 40 liters of enough. So we say the city around 80 liters. Okay, we take 100 liters of water. That's, I think, more than sufficient for a convenient for a living personality. If the 4 members with 100 liters per day, for 1 year, we need 1,46,000 liters only. So 1,46,000 liters. And what we are getting, I've already told you, we are getting 1,25,000 liters annually. So on an average over India, so there is a shortfall of 26,000 liters per person. If we take care per head, around 17 liters per day, we can live our life very, very happily without relying the supply of water from the corporation or the city. Okay, but what is our role? How we are serving this? Friends, we always say catch the rain where it falls. It's very easy to say catch the rain where it falls, but how? Okay, then we are all engineers. We need to make the running water crawl. How to make? I will tell you. And you make the crawling water to stop. And how to make the crawling water to stop? That also I'll tell you. And once you make the crawling water stop, allow it to percolate. Give its own time. Now we all know that of our Mother Earth. So Mother Earth takes her own time to get water absorbed into her stomach. And once it is there, that doesn't mean you can use it lavishly. You need to use water sparingly. There is a saying, friends, when we have a rich man can spend money. Yes, when we have a lot of water, especially now this year, there is a average rainfall water is confirmed. So everybody is getting average rate, especially in my state. Sufficient rainwater, but there are certain droughty areas in some places. Doesn't mean when you have a lot of money, you can spend a lot of money. You can no. A businessman, a really shrewd and a talented or a calculated businessman will definitely think: if I have a lot of money, how do I improve my business? How do I preserve it for next? How do I invest? Same the water. Water should be like money. If there is water, we should also think: how can I save water? How can I preserve water? How can I use it for my dry days? Okay. Now, we always talk about harvesting. Why that water harvesting is linked with the word harvesting? Harvesting is basically an agricultural word. It is used for an agricultural term where the crop is taken and the crop, the right crop is separated and preserved it, and it is used when there is crop doesn't grow at all. Harvesting is the same thing. When there is rain, you get rain. Otherwise, no water in this world. The entire water cycle all depends on how much water we get from the mother nature. So need to save it. Let's save it. So harvesting is that. Preserve the water what you get and use it when the water is not there. So what are the steps we need to take? So now let's get into business. When there is rain, we need to collect as much water as possible. Whether it might be dams or it might be our reservoirs, lakes, or it might be our own open well or a need to do it's where civil engineers play a very major role in this. Then the bore charging, that's a deep aquifer recharge, groundwater recharge, and we have water bodies, watershed development, efficient use. This is roughly, I'm telling you, there are other areas also, like recycling of water is there. We'll talk about it that later. This is basically for civil engineers. So, my friends, in my episode, Water is Life, the sixth episode will tell you what are the basics of rainwater harvesting. You can just go through it whenever you have free time. Rainwater collection is not a rocket science. It's simple. It's common sense. When there is no water, then you realize how to preserve water because government is giving important water. It's common sense, but not common to all, of course. That's why we need to interfere here and there. There's a small video which tells you when there is a rain, we'll say how do we collect rain? Where do we collect rain? And what video tells you catch the water where it falls with whatever you get, with whatever items you get, and wherever you get water. Rainwater belongs to each one of us. So that is why we need to know how to keep it and share it with our friends. That is why, friends, catch the rain where it falls. I'm sorry. The rain where it falls. That's our principle. Very simple. Now let me fastly go through the different methods. Now you need to collect different methods or different drains coming out from your roof. It might be a slab roof or it might be a tile roof. Both are our own buildings. And if it is, you don't feel that your building is getting spoiled with connections. You can cleanly paint it your required colors and bring it down near your source. And there is a sump tank here. Before letting it to the sump tank, you need to have a first flush or the first drain separator. What is this first drain separator? You will for the entire summer and winter, and there will be a lot of bird droppings, mosses. They might be there, and you need to take it away. So you need to provide an outlet for the first rain. And you know, pre-monsoon rains have their own mixture of chemicals in that. It is not good for health also. So you need to let it into the ground. This ground, if the first rain mixes with the ground, and our quality of the mud also will improve. So allow the first rain to go away using this first flush. Once the first flush This is the first flush one. The first flush is over. Allow it pass through a filter, then you can collect it. So depending on this is my introductory video that will tell you. My videos are starting with this introduction. Will tell you the different available. And this is the number 17 will tell you what is the important first flush. The first flush details are there. And now coming to the filter. You need to filter the water and save it. Now, this is for the common.
I think there has been a connection problem. I think.
Yeah, I think we have lost Kalbavi, sir.
Yeah.
I will try calling him, sir.
Okay, no problem. Let him, he will be rectifying it. No need to call. He will.
Sure.
I think he'll come back.
Oh, thank you.
I think we will take some time till the speaker comes back. We have been talking about various ways to harvest water, through different techniques, which is really very interesting. So each one of us can follow the technique which is there. If the speaker comes back, I would request all the participants to hold on for a couple of minutes so that
Sanjay, I'll give you a call.
Yes. So please come back. Yeah. Yes, sir. Yeah, you can continue, sir. Yes, please. You can unmute your mic.
I lost contact. I don't know why.
Okay.
So you'll have to share again.
Share again.
Yes, you have to share again because
Okay.
once the connection is gone, yeah, now it's okay. We are able to slowly.
Now see here. I don't know where did I lost connection.
Yes.
Anyway, these are types of filters available, friends. And to know about more about the filters, we have this episode where it will tell you what are how you can use it, and each filter has its own positive aspects and negative aspects also. So you need to take care about these filters by clearly understanding and asking the manufacturer how we can maintain it on a long run and how we can clean it now and then. So, but every filter may not have a first flush, so you need to have a first flush also. Some filters have the first flush along with them, and this doesn't need a first flush at all. So, depending on the types of filter you can purchase, depending on the cost involved, it varies from 3,000 to 7,000 rupees for an ordinary given house. The best thing is like what Mother Earth filters our own water. The same way you can have a sand bed filter. This is a sand bed filter. The making of sand bed filter is very easy. You can have a big box at the bottom, then have a smaller jelly, then that is 20 mm, then 6 mm. Then you have the coarse sand. Then you have a layer of Necklon mesh. Above that, you put around 3 to 4 inches of 4 to 6 inches, depending on your availability. Put what is called as charcoal. Once the charcoal is over, then put another layer of Necklon mesh or the aqua mesh. Then you put 6 mm baby jelly on the top. Allow around 1.5 feet at the top, so that there's a space available for water to collect if there is a heavy rain. So this is very simple. It can be made by yourself at your house, and for large buildings, apartments, and this is available for water reusing in our construction site also. So if you have a small house, you can make it by your own method, because you regularly maintain it, you see it. There are many houses. This is not told by me. He himself has done it and been doing it for the last 7 years. And this is one house they have tied just a clock. And I've seen one house in a lady where she had put her socks and filtered the water. This is a teenager. All these things are possible. Okay. Now this is my house where the water comes from different types of roofs. We need not collect the entire roof or the entire water from all your roofs. Some where is not possible, you don't get a proper gradient for your downtake pipe, just leave it. Whatever possible, pass it through. If this is the first flush, allow the first water to go once the heavy rain starts. Monsoon rain starts. Close this, so water will start rising and will get filtered and get into your well. You can store it in your sump tank, or it in your well. If you store it in some tank and if it is closed, I have proved this or I have tested it at NIT Suratkal, we could save this water for at least 6 to 8 months. 6 months, absolutely no problem. And we have reasons in where in North India, especially in Rajasthan, they have saved it up to 8 to 10 months. And there are examples where in Mangalore we have found old wells while renovating. Well, smart city project has come and we get wells here and there. And well, one well was there which is already around 30 to 50 feet deep, and the water quality was good, and which was closed around 10 to 40 years back. In other words, probably 100 years, water in will be pure. Well, thing is, I've been drinking rainwater without filtering, and in the sense, without filtering or heating in my house. I drink direct well water for the past 15 years. Absolutely no health problems, no cold, cough, nothing. And because one friend of mine who came and tested my well water, he said, it contains a lot of minerals, so you're lucky. Absolutely no issues. Well, this is very simple methods for the individual housing. Engineers need not worry about this. Now let's think about this. This is very important. You know, this is my office. Construction site, we have a lot of water being wasted here and there, especially the curing water, the water used during concreting, laborers use a lot of water. If you allow the water to go to a percolation pit, this water will go into the ground. It will not go waste or it will not be stagnated anywhere. A percolation pit can be done like this also. And if it is allowed to go inside and your will be clean, there will be no smell around, there is no foul smell also, and water will get into the deep ground and will help to improve the groundwater table. You don't need to bother about the filtration methods also, because the natural earth is another has its own filtration methods. See here, this is a deep near a big building. I have designed a percolation pit, which is around 20 feet deep and 5 feet wide. All these things, water will go inside the well only. Absolutely no problem. So if it is not, how you can do it? Just see, a small house also, if they will, they can do a percolation pit and save the water. And if you have a construction site, allow all your to wash their hands everywhere in such a place and do a percolation pit and save the water. And in fact, after doing this percolation pit, if you want to save in a tank, if you have a problem, you can reuse it for after percolation, after the filtration, you save in a tank, and that water can be used for curing another purpose also. Absolutely no issues. Well, and as far as the concrete design is concerned, I don't know to take place. The concrete designer tells you what water cement ratio, and Pillai sir has already told you a lot of efficiency has gone in to save water in that, and you need to follow that principle so that right quantity of water enters into the cement. If the right quantity of water enters into the water has to come from the ground, so you have a lot of methods of percolation pits. This is in Rajasthan. The bottom one is in Rajasthan, where the choka system has been done to save water. And this is in Maharashtra, where the hill has been dug with lot of trenches to save water. And this is in Koppal, a dry district, where a forest officer has lot and for to save water and percolation and allow water to go into the ground. And in India, you can adopt this method also, but depending on the quantity of water you save on the or from the roof coming from the roof, you can increase the number of bins, and you can increase the size of the pit also. If you don't want to be seen, you cover it with sand, and you can cover it with your grass later. Absolutely no problem. Now, the main is recharging the borewell. The borewell has come very recently, 40 to 60 years back. Earlier, water means all it's a well or a pond or a stream. Somewhere in the early around 40, around 60s, around 30s and 40s, people thought, because we have a drilling machine, why don't we go a little bit deep and get the water below the ground level? And we have geologists who will source the water. Yes. Once we go deep, earlier it was only hand pump, like I'd shown it here. It was only hand pump. You can draw whatever water you want. And this system was adopted for drinking water purpose only. Slowly, what happened? We have a fantastic idea of introducing a pump into the borewell. And this is the problem. But once we started improving the pump into the borewell, a lot of water started coming out. And I don't have to talk about this, but if we use that type of water also, you know what happens if there is a nearby open wells, it will slowly dry up because there is a cone of depression happening and the well will get dried up. The open wells will get dried up. That's why we need to save the water, especially in the summer. We only have to use the borewell if the water is not there. If the open wells do not dry, you need to use open wells only. Well, how to recharge the borewell? Okay, this is your well. Dig, say, around 10 feet by 10 feet dia. There are different methods adopted. In some adopt a twin pit methods, and some adopt injection well. And this is the common system adopted in the southern parts of the India, especially southern states, and it's more easier also and convenient. I will tell you a very simple procedure of recharging a borewell. Dig a hole and strengthen the base, tie the top so that it won't tilt. Then slowly tight and you drill a hole on the entire length of the pipe. The holes might be around 6 mm to 10 mm, and it can be in a random order. Please do not drill the hole in a straight line. Point number, if you don't want to drill a hole, you can do slits also. The slit of a cutting, that is 1 mm, 1 mm or 1.5, 2 mm cutting blades are available. So using that blade, 1 mm blade, basically you can cut it, and the cutting or the whatever you want to put a you want to slits formation, that also has to be done in a random order. It should not be in a straight line from bottom of the pit to the top of the borewell. Once the slits are made, you cover them aqua mesh or even netlon mesh available. Aqua meshes are available, basically used for fishing. That is very, very helpful. You cover it with the aqua mesh. Then start filling the base with bigger border size borders. Then you start with say 9 inches. Then you start doing 6 inches. Then you start 1.5 inches. Then you do 20 mm. Then you put 6 mm. All this you can put in layers of say 1 feet each. So there are already 6 feet is over. Then you cover 6 mm layer with a nylon mesh again. This is called an aqua mesh or netlon mesh. Minimum 2 layers. And once you put 2 layers of aqua mesh, above that place 5 to 6 inches to 9 inches charcoal. Charcoal will help to clean and preserve water for a long period. So once the charcoal is there, because a lot of carbon content is there, it is a carbon filter. It acts as a carbon filter. So put the charcoal, and once the charcoal is placed, again cover it with netlon mesh. And once it is covered with netlon mesh, finally you place a 6 mm metal on the top and allow the water from the buildings. If this is done for a very huge factory, and lakhs of water is allowed to percolate, the owner, all the laborers are all happy because they have lakhs and lakhs of liters of water, and they are happy. They are contributing to the nature. What they remove from the borewell, they are contributing to the nature during rainy season. This method has helped to revive many dry borewells. In borewells in the northern parts of the Karnataka, because they have a lot of water and they use it only for
there is a connection problem again. It's very interesting to see that it's possible to conserve water whether it is at a construction site or a residential building. There are so many methods, ranging from percolation pits and then, of course, recharging bore wells. It's very interesting to see that it's possible. And I would also request all the participants, if you have any queries or questions, please type on the chat box. In case you want to get some ideas on how water can be saved at your places or how it can be recharged, questions relating to that, any practical aspects, because as you could see from the presentation, Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi has done a lot of practical works in seeing how water can be conserved. So I'm sure that it is very much possible that we can follow many of the techniques that has been talked, because the thing is that say for example how open well as well as a bore well, how it, what is being possible is that open well can be recharged easily as compared to a bore well, and the methods of recharging a bore well also has been outlined. So if there are any practical questions relating to practical aspects that you have been facing in the recent past, please feel free to post it. And if you also want some solution to some of the problems also, you can just post it on the chat box as the presentation is progressing. I'm sure that the speaker would again revert back, because the thing is that there is some connection problem, and I'm sure that we would continue to listen to more ideas. You are there, sir? I think it will take some more time, because some of these concepts which we can see are, thing is that conceptually it is simple, implementable. In terms of whether you look at filtering water or whether it is recharging bore wells. And we have also seen water scarcity in many of the places in the recent past. So I'm sure that you have seasons when there is a lot of water, and there are times when there is water scarcity. So we can always see that a balance is being done, and to see whether the water can be conserved or not. So lot of techniques are there. Only thing is that whether we have been implementing it or not is the question. Whether it is an individual house or whether it is an apartment, where water can be taken from the rooftops to a sump, or for that matter, even for recharging some of the borewells. So it's really interesting to see that it is possible. And another thing is that water has a lot of minerals in it, and as the example was stated, well water is very good. So we need to go back to nature to see that we get more water, and there is no scarcity of water in the near future. In terms of the various filtering materials that is being used, in the percolation pit, and the filters that can be used, the natural filters that can be used for filtering water is really interesting. So some of this, and even the cost also, if you could see, I think it is not very costly, given the benefit that one gets, and the initial capital cost also, if you look at it, many of the rainwater harvesting techniques, if it can be adopted, ultimately it is much more beneficial. So that is where we get a lot of benefit as far as conservation of water is concerned. So I'm sure that the speaker has come back, and yes. So we will get to hear some more.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Now you are back. Yeah, please continue, sir. Yes.
Oh God, I don't know what is this internet problem here.
It's all right. Yeah.
Okay, I need to share it. I know, connect. One sec. I lost my screen. Is that?
Yeah, the water elixir of life, the presentation is there on the desktop only. So you can click on that.
Acha, I have to click that.
Yeah, you can just click on that, and we are able to see.
No, it's already open. That's already open.
Okay. Fine. Yeah. Slideshow.
Fine. Is it all right? Now it's visible?
It's all right. We are able to see the slide.
Okay. Now we, being the civil engineers, we can play a larger role in conserving and preserving water. One thing is main is, the water comes from nature for 4 months, and a balance 4 months, it runs on the ground. It flows in the ground. And other 4 months, It will be below the ground. So the role is very important during the first 4 months. And the second 4 months, we play a very important role to make the water to stop or crawl. How do you do that? So vented dams can be done. It's like this. A lot of vented dams, our engineers are doing it, especially the watershed development buildings and the Lake Development Authority, the Water Conservation Society, India Jal Shakti. A lot of things are there who are working on this and having a data and how to preserve and conserve water. But we, as a civil engineers, if we have our own friends' property or if we have an association, we can join hands and close and do bunds like this, and we can create a lake like this and save water for the future purpose. And there are the department, these works are done generally by minor irrigation and other departments where they create buds. This is done by the forest department where they put gully plugs and nala buds. And forest department do a lot, but they are not brought into the limelight. This is done by the forest department and other area farmers. They do themselves to save water for their own purpose. There are various methods adopted to stop the flowing water and allow it to flow percolate into the ground by different farmers in their own manner. Now, this is very important. Available water bodies has to be saved. How do we save the available water bodies? First thing is we being the civil engineers should not prompt our own builders friends to encroach or occupy or dump or use dried lakes or dried wells, or it might be a dried stream. We should try to rejuvenate it. This is a very difficult task, and a lot of political pressure is also might be there. So we need to overcome all these things, and we need to work on this, and tell them we need to save water. If efforts are made, you can see the result at the end of the tunnel. There are a lot of efforts are being made in different parts of the country by different people. Different industries are funding. A lot of industries with a lot of CSR grants, the social responsibility grants, they fund for water rejuvenation project. This is a water rejuvenation project. You can see how dry it was, and after well rejuvenated, you can see the greenery that is developed. You can see a lot of life everywhere. And lake rejuvenation projects are also being taken up by various smart cities projects and minor irrigation department. They are doing their best, but how far we are taking care of it? What is our role? See, this is the problem. We don't know to take care of our own water source. We dump all the garbage, and poor fellows, they don't know they drink water from this well. From the age old, the kings, Rajas, Maharajas have taught us you need to have water source within your own building. You need to save and preserve water depending on your size and the capacity available. We have forgotten all these things. And we started dumping the waste, we started encroaching, we started occupying, and finally the water source itself is lost. Here also we play a very important role in saving or conserving water. Watershed development is one more where the civil engineers and of course environmentalists play a very important role. Many watershed civil engineers did not get an explanation of what is watershed development. They know if you have a lot of trees, and a watershed is an area where water lands up and goes into a particular stream or particular flow of water. And if you have bund or nala in that particular area, you can store lot and lots of water. Well, that's very important thing. But nowadays, what's happening? The trees are not being grown, and trees are being cut for some vested interest. We need to grow a lot of trees in this city. Thousands and thousands of trees has to be grown so that these trees will retain water and give it to us. And finally, I will come to the last point is the save water. How do you save water? What are the methods involved? This gentleman in some Chitradurga or some where he has built so many places, he has built, and Prime Minister in his talk has mentioned his name that he has constructed around 7 lakes alone. And we have seen recently one man has dug kilometers to get a drain to get water to his place. People are doing their best in one or the other manner. But what we people are doing in the cities, in the cities, we are using water according to our whims and fancies. When we go for a function, we go for a meeting, there will be a water bottle kept for you. You just drink half of the water and then throw it away. And if you throw it away, what will happen? All the energy and money involved in utilizing that water, freezing it, filtering it, transporting it, getting it to your doorstep and to your meeting table, and it's all going to be into the drains later. So now, please don't carry, if at all anybody gives you a water bottle during any meeting or a function, whatever water you want to consume during the program or the meeting, consume it, and balance water. Please carry it and consume the water wherever you want to and dispose the bottle very efficiently. Now we have a very important system for all civil engineers is that please don't put these types of tags everywhere. If it's a public place, if it's a public construction site, or it is our own construction site, or in a public place where they were getting water, then please install push button taps. If you don't use push button taps, water will be wasted to a large extent. Now we've got aerators in all the upper level taps in our construction. Put aerators. All our taps can be put aerators for all our buildings and all our houses, public places, Kalyan Mantapas, schools, colleges, wherever possible, you can use these aerators. There are aerators which will save you around 20%, no, 30% to 50% to 70%. This is called as dust taps are also available, which will help you to save water to a large extent. Try to put aerators, and henceforth you take a pledge that we are not going to introduce or not going to put ordinary taps in any of our construction sites. If it's a public, it's a push button. For our individual houses, it will be all the buildings, it is all taps with aerators. If you already put regular taps, instead of you replacing the whole tap, you can just, these attachments are available, which is a very nominal cost. You can fix these aerators. You can take it as a project in your own construction site. And we are smart people. We have smart TV, smart mobiles, smartphones, smart ACs, and everything is smart. Lighting is smart. Our locking system is smart. When we are going to become water smart people? This is high time now. So we need to become water smart. I want to tell you how you have to save water in your own day-to-day life. You have a lot of methods, and there are a lot of information in the net. You can go through it and you can follow it one by one. That should come from the heart and not from somebody telling you or advising you. Finally, water is money. Earlier, water was free available. Now, water is money. Everywhere you are going to pay for the water. In future days, now the government is giving the water a subsidized rate. In future, you have to pay a hefty amount to buy water to get water. So now, earlier days we used to say water is free. Now, water is not free. It comes at a cost. So how do we save water? How do we save money? No money. Earlier to say time is money. No time, no money. No, that statement is also gone. It's older days. Now, no water, no money. So, behaves like a sponge. When it falls, the water will percolate to say 60 feet, 100 feet max, 100, 120 feet, 150 feet in a given rainy season. So you have all the pleasure, you have all the right to take that water and use it very efficiently. You can do it. But so see, this is water. What is available on the surface? This is hard cash. Whatever the water available on the surface of the earth, it might be a spring, river, band, nala. All these things are hard cash available. A cash company means a flourishing company. A water city is a flourishing city. We need to take this into mind. That's all hard cash. Don't you think this will help us? We don't have to bother for our living. A healthy life is a rest assured. And if you have a water source like this, not only your health, your also life will be full of pleasure always. Now, the cash, hard cash, money, rokra. We always talk about rokra. Now, we have SB account. What is SB account? SB account is your own open well or your underground water source. You collect it or put it into your open well and you take water according to your own requirement. Like what you remove money from your SB ATM account. Like a ATM account, one by one, little bit by little, one by one. So it is like an SB account. If you don't recharge, your account will get empty. So you need to deposit water. And finally, what is FD? FD is hard cash which we deposit large amount of money and we keep it for a long time. And whenever there is a crisis, we'll try to remove it out. And only if there is a crisis and we are in hard trouble, we touch our FD account. All the borewells are FD accounts. If we don't preserve in the borewell and use it only when there is a crisis, we can lead a happy life. You know what happened? In a big apartment, we have an open well, we have a borewell. Just because the developer has put a pump in the borewell, we don't bother to touch open well. And in the rainy season, there is abundant water in the open well. Just because the pump is inside the borewell, we use only borewells. Our surface water will go dry unnecessarily. So please don't do that. Put a small investment and put a pump in the open well also. Use it efficiently or effectively during the summer or during the rainy season. When the open well get dried up, then no problem. Then you go for a borewell also. I am not against the borewell, but effective use of borewell will help you to save and conserve and preserve water to a large extent. In a construction site also same problem. Rainy season is there, it was heavily raining. Instead of collecting roof water for curing purpose or construction purpose, we switch on the pump and take the pump from the underground water source. That is very, very bad. Government is doing a lot. There is a Jal Shakti ministry, under that lot of departments are there. Many, many departments are there. So no issues. And apart from Jal Shakti ministry, government is also giving subsidies for individuals to build your own bore wells, your own wet wells, small pits called as some under Narega scheme. Even in the Gram Panchayat level, they give a lot of schemes. There is a country which has proved you in Israel, which has proved you if we are water rich, everything is paid, water is recycled, even the grey water is recycled, and they say the world fight because of water. We are there to make friendship because of water. Make friendship with us, and we can have a wonderful living. So Israel is a city or the country which has only one light river, and 60% of it is desert. Still, they are a water-rich country in the world. Well, I think I need to wipe. I need to close my presentation as my time is getting out. Hello.
Yes, sir. We are able to hear you. Yes,
okay.
We are able to hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. So, for friends, we humans, we feel to live happily. Jal, Jameen, and Jeevan has to go together. If we save Jal, Zameen will be very, very flourishing, and our Jeevan will be very happy. Even the trees knows if we save water, in the season they let the water very fast. But once the rain stops, the trees or the leaves will let the water drip by drip into the Mother Earth. Only we human beings let it openly or freely through our drains. If we do like this, we will not be having water for our future days. Let's act wisely and act to save water and wherever possible, and whichever possible, and however possible. So, with this, I thank everybody for giving me the opportunity and my presentation. I'm very happy to receive questions. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. I have received a couple of questions through the Facebook Messenger also.
Okay.
One question which has been asked is that is it costly to implement it at residence? This thing, what would be the initial capital cost and all that? Supposing in a residential building, if they have to implement rainwater harvesting.
Got it. Sir, I don't know what happened to my video. One sec. Sir, in a residential apartment, what happened? My video is not being seen.
No problem. You can just go on, sir. Video is not seen. I think you have to stop sharing. If you can stop sharing and then show your video, it would be better. Because we are able to see your computer screen.
Acha, how do I stop sharing?
There is some things. Stop sharing is not there on top or bottom. Just see there.
Okay.
And otherwise, you can just start the video. Is there a start video option? There is a start video.
Okay.
Option. You can start video. That's it.
Okay, sir. Sir, in an apartment, I will give you a water source. If it might be open well or a bore well. To recharge a bore well, there are two arguments happening. One is we'll have a mechanical filter outside and let the water direct from the top into the bore well. Reservation in that, but some experts say it's okay. What I suggested is get into the bore well in a dripped manner, in a slow manner. That is better. So the cost involved is very difficult to tell you. So in an apartment building, the cost involved is only the recharge in the bore because you already have the downtake pipe. You have already a pipe system laid in your system. There will be many apartments and I'm very sorry to say they have connected up to the drains of the main road. So they have to drain, they have left it to the open drains, some have left it to the drainage system. Anyway, that's a part. So you have to only connect it, interconnect it, and put it into the drainway. Probably it will cost an apartment building, it will cost you around, say, roughly it can start with around 60,000 to lakhs or 2 lakhs. For individual housing, it will cost you not less than 2 to 3,000. Next.
So I think that is very interesting to see that there is not much of capital involved, seeing the benefit that one can take from that. So the cost benefit analysis, if you see benefit will definitely outlive the cost, even when you look at this. And you also spoke about organizations, taking initiatives from the corporate social responsibility. In fact, we have also started in our mining this thing. Once the mine is being closed, we have made it green, and then started having that open. What you rightly said, open water lakes kind of thing to recharge the area. So in this aspect, one question which has been asked was that how can organizations, across the country, how some few ideas that you can give, what they should be doing as far as water conservation is concerned, what initiatives they can take, from apartment organizations.
I'll tell you, sir. See, we have a very good organization here in Mangalore, it is MRPL. ONGC MRPL. They have fixed a particular, their CSR amount is say 100 crores or 550 crores. They fix a particular section of the CSR money. That is say 25%. It is only for water conservation. So so they can ask for expression of, they can ask for applications. There are a lot of organizations and engineers available who can give a rejuvenation plan for the well. Who can give a rejuvenation plan for a tank or a river or a streamline and bunds and all. So a lot of work have been happening in our own nearby city, around 30 kilometers from here. One club has rejuvenated 4 wells, each costing around 1 crore each. 4 lakes, each around costing around 1 crore and around. So if they can do that, and it will be amazing because the people involvement is there. You should avoid government and take the people's support. Then the effect will be very, very glaring, and it will be very, very effective for the public of the people's public use also. fix amount, and we need to put pressure. Probably many of the corporates will not have an idea. They have a fixed amount and they want to spend it for the public use. How? Because water is one of the main content. They have to freeze the amount that I am going to give 25% only for water conservation. Then a lot of things can happen.
Okay. So there is one question which has been posted here, whether you will be able to understand. The question is there any calculation methods on construction material with respect to virtual water economy? I do not know what is that virtual water economy. One question is being posted.
Sir, virtual water economy is what we use by unknowing reasons. Suppose we use for curing, and that water flows down, and we use the water which is in construction, like masonry. The water is used, and the extra water is what is wasted. That is a minor part, probably, where we can think of at present moment. We engineers can think of a real economy, like how we can save on a large extent. That will help a lot. And the construction industry, anyway, it will be a bad line here and there. Water somewhere gets stagnated, somewhere it gets freezed out. So I think we can consider it as the second line importance.
We have to be pound wise and penny foolish, that kind of thing. I think we have to see where.
Yes.
We have to see where the effect would be much more. Whatever our action, if it is creating more effect, that is the thing. I think that is very interesting.
In a large construction site, people take bath, wash their hands in different points. If we can link that different points of bathing and filtering it up and going for a tank or a well or tank itself, for example, filtered water that can be used for curing by using a small pump. No, that economy has to be worked out depending on the site conditions.
Okay. Now, in your presentation, you were also talking about the different filtering this thing can be used, the aggregates and then finer materials at the top. It has been very effective in terms of filtering the water, is it?
Yes, sir. And when a small house, we just take 20 liters bucket. In a house, for a 2-bedroom house, we have used only 20-liter bucket, and we have used the system, and we have used the rainwater for drinking purpose. In my office, we are taking water directly, absolutely no problem. That is why rainwater is the most pure form of water with vitamin some B12 or something. Now, a lot of minerals and vitamins, and you can consume it directly. Only when it falls on your hand or your roof, it gets contaminated. Then only it needs filtering. Otherwise, you can directly consume it. Absolutely no issues.
So it was a very interesting topic. In fact, you had compared it with money, and that it made it more interesting. And I am sure that water is more than money. In fact, if you compare it, it is as you rightly pointed out. If you have to survive, water has to be. So that is a very interesting topic and a very good presentation. Let me invite Engineer Vijay Vishnumaya to deliver the vote of thanks. Sir, you are there? I think because almost we had a number of participants in the Facebook also. Engineer Vijay Vishnumaya, sir, over to you for vote of thanks. Yes, sir, we can see you.
Yeah, you can hear you.
Yeah.
This vote of thanks, I'm very happy to render my vote of thanks on behalf of the association and the great institution called Ramco Cements. Rajendra Kalbavi is a very, very special superstar. He is a rare complexion of talent, knowledge, and brilliance and delivery, especially in convincing the needs of his particular presentation, is something extraordinary. There are 2 or 3 parts of his presentation. One is the commitment from human being, the people, for a conservation of water, which is at most important, and in which way we can do it, in which way we can approach the authorities and help them in making this water conservation as our basic duty. And finally, the comparison that what you have shown, your FD, SB and current account, is something amazing that will go deep into our memory, and for sure we are not going to forget it, Rajendra. And the interest rate is very much less, but you'd use it very, very judiciously. Water is life and water is time, and nothing more precious than water. This message very successfully delivered by our dear friend, the past chairman Rajendra Kalbavi, on behalf of everybody, for enlightening for that particular aspect of water conservation in a most innovative and creative different way. Thank you very much, Rajendra Kalbavi, for your great presentation.
Thank you.
Thank you,
for your kind
Engineer
words.
Vijay Vishnumaya, for that vote of thanks. And I'm
No,
sure
you're
that
not
all the
finished.
participants also should watch the YouTube videos which has been posted by Engineer Rajendra Kalbavi. In fact, it is much more detailed. I think.
I know.
Yeah.
Yes,
And
sir.
then it's brief. It catches up each point. About 5 minutes of that presentation. It is very much. In just 5 minutes, 5 or 10 minutes break, we can just go to it and we can have a look at it, and we can assimilate it very easily. That is one of the very, very nice experiment from him. And I thank Anil Pillai for this great contribution to the field of civil engineering, sir, and construction. Suraj for being the soft copy, hard copy, and totally very, very special copy for us. And I thank our energetic chairman, Arun Prabha sir, for his kind words and kind presence, and all the participants for being such a wonderful participant. And because the number 40 to 50 at this very, very busy hours of profession, you have spent your time on this. And this is extremely happy to note that this program is very successful. Looking forward for this kind of programs from the organizers and from everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. So we sign off from the event. Thank you, ACCEI Mangalore, for organizing this event along with us. Stay safe.
And our that one, I'm very serious on it. Marathon and water.
We will work on it, sir.
Very, very, very innovative program. Rajendra.
Yeah,
We'll
definitely.
Okay.
Thank you so much,
I'm
sir.
ready.
We sign off from the event. Thank you, Engineer Arun Prabha.